On March 20th, 2022, a man was jogging in a beautiful place called Borno in Italy. Then he saw two large garbage bags. No one usually throws garbage in those hilly areas, and these bags looked quite big and heavy. Out of curiosity, the man went to those bags and opened one. Inside, he found a girl's severed hand. There were a total of 18 body parts in these bags, and these were not of any common person, but of a famous adult film actress. But how did all this happen to her? After all, who killed her and cut her body into small pieces so brutally? Who became the enemy of her life? To know the answers to these questions, we have to understand in detail about the life of this actress and the exciting investigation of this case. Before proceeding, I want to tell you that on this channel, I upload very interesting, true crime stories. If you like such stories, then subscribe to the channel before the start of this video. Our story today is about a famous OnlyFans model and adult film star, Carol Maltus. Carol Maltus was a 26-year-old girl born in 1995 in Italy. When Carol was young, her parents divorced and her mother raised her alone. Carol loved her mother very much and understood how difficult it must have been for her mother to educate and raise her alone. Despite the difficulties she faced in her childhood, Carol was a very cheerful and energetic girl. She was very fond of dancing, horse riding, and traveling. She loved books and was always trying to learn new languages. Her cheerful and bubbly personality attracted people a lot. She had a lot of friends and people liked her very much. In 2015, Carol was studying at a technical university when she found out that she was pregnant. This pregnancy was completely unexpected, and Carol was only 20 years old at the time. This pregnancy changed her entire life. It could have had a profound impact on her studies, but she and her boyfriend showed courage. They decided that not only will she give birth to this child, but she will also raise him. This courage is truly commendable. Everything was going well till here, but later, Carol did something that is not expected in any relationship. Carol shifted to a new city with her boyfriend. Both of them also got jobs. Carol started working as a sales consultant in a shoe store. Their life was going well, but in 2019, Carol fell in love with another man, and their affair remained secret for several months. I'm sure her boyfriend must have suspected something was wrong, or perhaps noticed some changes in Carol's behavior, but he didn't realize Carol was cheating on him for several months. When he finally found out the truth, their relationship ended. Carol decided to start a new life with her new boyfriend, and their child was to live with his biological father, Carol's ex-boyfriend. However, Carol did not stop meeting her child. She met him regularly and also sent money for his care. But a big event happened in 2020. The pandemic stopped the whole world. Lockdowns happened, travel stopped, and businesses also came to a standstill. So many people lost their jobs, and Carol was one of them. She became unable to send money to her son, and it became difficult for her to even make ends meet. Carol then thought of starting a channel on YouTube where she wanted to talk about her life and the challenges of lockdown, and intended to earn money from that content. But she soon realized that making money from YouTube required a lot of time and effort. After this, she created her account on OnlyFans. For those who don't know, OnlyFans is a platform where creators post their exclusive content and their fans subscribe to watch it. Generally, the content on this platform can be anything, but mostly there is nudity content here. Carol hid her real name and created an account in the name of Charlotte Ng and started posting her explicit photos and videos there. Surprisingly, she got success very soon. People started liking her, started buying her subscription, and in no time she got a huge fan following. She gradually became quite famous. People started calling her for fancy parties and adult photo shoots. She gave many interviews and attended many public events. Her career reached new heights quickly, but it came with a price, which Carol was willing to pay. Almost all of Carol's friends distanced themselves from her as they did not support her career choice. Even her boyfriend left her, the same boyfriend for whom Carol left her first relationship and child. Despite losing so much, Carol continued working in that industry. According to her, the people who were criticizing her were narrow-minded. For her, her work was an art which her boyfriend and friends probably did not understand. Carol had said in many of her interviews that she would not stay in the adult industry for long. She would make money from there and fulfill her real dreams, and she did exactly that. At the age of 25, she shifted to a new town and left the adult film industry. She settled in a small town with a population of 15,000. She found a job at a local perfume shop, and her days went by peacefully. But she soon realized that leaving the industry was not that easy. Eventually, she left her new life and returned to her past, and that's when she met David Fontana. David Fontana was 42 years old and worked in a bank. He had a great passion for photography, especially explicit nude photography. David was a married man and had a good family, but he still used to search for attractive girls on the internet for his photo shoots. In October 2020, David met Carol and was smitten by her beauty. Slowly, their photo shoots turned into a sexual arrangement. He would pay Carol to sleep with him, and Carol accepted it. Over time, their arrangement turned into love. By March 2021, just 6 months later, David told his wife everything about his affair and got a divorce so that he could be with Carol. He left his home of many years for this new affair, who was almost half his age. Now, David and Carol were not just in a relationship, but they also started working together. David would help her in content creation and in return, keep a part of her income. David didn't care if Carol was working in adult videos or she was sleeping with other men, as long as it was all professional. But it wasn't like David didn't care about Carol. He was extremely possessive, and perhaps it was this possessiveness that made him start working with Carol to keep an eye on her. Once, Carol's ex-boyfriend tried to contact her again, and David got so jealous that he threatened him and even broke his car. Carol now had more than 30,000 subscribers on OnlyFans, and this number was increasing rapidly. Now Carol started creating request-based content along with normal content. In this, the clients would tell her what they wanted in the video, and Carol would do the same, in return for which she would get a good amount of money. In this way, Carol had earned so much through her content that she could now leave this industry and focus on her long-term goals and real dreams. During this time, Carol fell in love with one of her colleagues, Salvatore. Salvatore was also a part of the same adult film industry. Their love grew so much that Salvatore proposed to Carol. Carol was very happy and agreed to marry him. Now she wanted to marry Salvatore and start a new and normal life for which she had to get out of David's influence. Carol and David's relationship was quite complicated. David used to help her in content creation and charge a share in return. But now Carol was fed up with this arrangement and wanted to end all ties with David so that she could leave the adult industry and start a new life. She wanted to return to her old city and live with Salvatore, where her first boyfriend and child also lived, so that she could also take care of her son. Something strange happened in early 2022. Carol suddenly disappeared and no one knew where she went. She also did not give any update on all her social media accounts. She would occasionally reply to her family members and say that she was busy somewhere. Carol's family and Salvatore started worrying about her, so they asked David. David confessed that they had broken up, and he also did not know where Carol was. Carol's sudden disappearance was mysterious and suspicious for everyone. The day was March 20th, 2022. A man was jogging in the mountains in a place called Borno when he saw 2 large bags. The bags looked very heavy, so he got suspicious and went near them. As soon as he opened one of the bags, he found a severed hand in it. Seeing this, the man was very scared and immediately called the police. When the police reached the spot, they found a total of 4 bags containing 18 severed body parts. The body was cut and mutilated so badly that it was difficult to identify who it belonged to. Not only identification, without forensic investigation, it was very difficult to even guess whether the body was of a man or a woman. Police officers, investigators, and forensic team got busy with their work. To catch the murderer, it was most important to know whose body it was. Shortly after, the forensic department told that the body was of a woman who was about 5 feet tall and young and had black hair. There were 11 tattoos found on his body, but most of them were damaged to prevent identification. Some of the tattoos were even cut out of his skin. The killer wanted to make sure that if his body was ever found, he would never be identified. The important information of this case was made public, and the details of those tattoos were also released, so that if anyone could identify them, then inform the police. The forensic report also revealed that this woman had died about a month ago. Until now, her body was kept in the freezer. After this information was made public, a man who identified the tattoo called the police and told that he knew whose body it was. That body was of Charlotte Angie, who was a famous adult film actress. Andrea Telly, who was a journalist and also the editor of a local magazine, became deeply interested in this case. She started her own investigation. The question arose in her mind that when this murder happened a month ago, why did no one file a missing report? Didn't her family or friends notice her disappearance? On March 26, 2022, the police received a call in which a man told that he knew whose body it was. He told that it was the body of Charlotte Angie. Andrea continued her investigation and contacted Charlotte's agency. From there, she got Charlotte's real phone number, which revealed her real name as Carol Maltus. Andrea called Carol's number several times but got no response. Then she sent text messages, and surprisingly, the answer started coming. Andrea understood that the person answering was not Carol, but the same killer who was trying to show everyone that Carol was alive. Andrea wrote in a message that a body has been found, which has tattoos like Carol's. Hearing this, the killer panicked and disappeared from the chat. Andrea was sure that she had just spoken to Carol's killer. On March 27th, Andrea gave all the information to the police. The killer was scared and he realized that the police would soon reach him. So he decided to go to the police station and file a missing report for Carol so that no one would suspect him. On March 27th, David Fontana and Carol's boyfriend, Salvatore, went to the police station to report Carol missing. But the police already suspected that one of the two men could be responsible for Carol's death. Both were called in for questioning, which lasted until 4 p.m. the next day. On March 29th, the police announced that they had arrested a man suspected of Carol Maltus's murder, and he was none other than David Fontana. During the interrogation, David appeared very nervous and kept on beating around the bush. He claimed that he had not met Carol for the last 2 years, but this was proven to be a lie. If he had really not met Carol for 2 years, then why did he come to report her missing? Eventually, David broke down under police pressure and confessed his crime. David said that on January 11, he and Carol were shooting a video. The video was made at the behest of a fan where Carol was to be physically tortured. During the video, David hit Carol's head with a hammer several times, and when he removed the bag from Carol's face after the shooting, he saw that she was almost dead. David panicked after seeing this and stabbed Carol with a knife, as if he was giving her relief from the pain. After Carol's death, David cut her body into pieces and refrigerated it. Then 3 months later, he disposed of her body. After hearing this story of David, the police became suspicious of him because he was repeatedly changing his testimony. Investigation revealed that the fan who sent the video request was none other than David himself. He had planned the entire scene in advance. Carol had given her phone password to David during the video so that he used Carol's phone and tried to convince people that she was still alive. He also kept shopping with her credit card so that everything looked normal. The hearing of this case started on 24 November 2022. David's lawyers claimed that it was an accidental murder, but the prosecution proved that everything was planned in advance. On the 12th June 2023, David was sentenced to 30 years. Apart from this, he also had to pay compensation to Carol's family. The most important person in this whole case was the journalist who showed keen interest in this case and conducted his own investigation, which solved the case and brought justice to Carol. If you found this story interesting, please like and share this video and tell your opinion in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel.